Welcome to Northern Strain Style. And today we're talking about big northern pike, late fall fishing. Pull yourself up a soft top grain belt, warm, just the way my grandpa served me my first one. And man, feed a deer and let's throw the big old Dips 250 glide bait. It's my personal best pike here. Man, I've caught a lot of 35 to 40 inch pike out of this lake through my lifetime. And last 2 years, I've been really putting this late fall pike bite together. And I'm glad I could get it all on video. And I didn't think I'd be getting one this big. And just a beautiful, healthy, mega dinosaur gator. 45 inch plus. Didn't weigh it, didn't measure it, but you catch enough of these, you start to know. And I honestly didn't think they got that big in this lake. But they do. So yeah. Late fall pike fishing. I'm fishing a big flat here. It's a big flat. It's 5 feet, sandy. There's reeds, 2 reed beds, but then I was targeting the cabbage on the outside of the reed beds. It's the last green weed up here in the late fall. And man, the fish, after they come out of the depths and then they go back up shallow to in the fall a little bit, they congregate around that cabbage. Yeah, that thing was a mega. No other pike will ever compare to that one. I don't even want to let another pike in the boat anymore. I need to pressure wash my carpet because it's a little funky right now with all the pike the last couple of weeks. And man, I'm glad it's not summertime because there'd be a swarm of flies just buzzing me. But yeah, so what I like to look for in late fall fishing for pike is long points, and I'll troll over I'll graph over these points and make sure there's some bait fish down there. And if there's not, move on because they're feeding heavy. They're fattening up for winter. And so I'm looking for long points. I'll graph it. The bait fish is down there, and then I'll start working the bait. I'll put the boat up on the shallow side, and I'll cast out to the deep and pull it up to the shallow side of the point. And the reason for that is you're kind of closing their bite window. So if I was pulling that bait shallow to deep, there's more of a chance for them to turn off and shy away from the bite or the bait, if they're not really feeling it. But if you're bringing that up and the water's getting shallower and shallower, it's kind of like, it's creating that barrier where they feel like they can get a good bite on the fish, and it's not gonna escape them. And I make it real easy for them to get it. But yeah, no leader, no nothing. I'm just a moron out here throwing expensive baits and rare tackle. Some's discontinued, no leader, no nothing, and just praying that I don't get bit off. And every once in a while it works. But I've lost, I can't tell you how many pike I've lost this year and how many baits I've lost, but that's part of the game. And the reason I don't use a leader that much is because I get so much more action out of the bait. And when I'm bass fishing, I'm really trying to fine-tune my technique with some baits. And if you got a leader on, it's not for me. but I definitely would recommend one. Especially if you're going to throw that back a burrito. And I think last year I must have lost. I lost at least 8 last year because I was so happy I got on that bite. I was like, I want to keep it going. And I always felt the leader killed the bite, but whatever. So yeah, late fall, man, pike are not going to discriminate in what you throw. They're snapping at everything. And honestly, I'm catching more of these bigger pike on smaller baits, Ned rigs, little jigs, than I am with swim baits or the burrito or, I mean, I caught a few on the glide, but not as many as the other stuff. And also, too, when you're bringing in your retrieve, I've noticed a lot of the pike will track your bait, or they'll just keep following it. So even if you're working it back to the boat and nothing's happening, and all of a sudden, as soon as you almost get ready to reel up, that bait kind of like just changes its trajectory a little bit. Bam, man, I was getting so many snaps like that, and a lot of those fish I got bit off on, but a few of them I did catch. Yeah. Pike fishing. Pretty pretty standard thing to do here in Minnesota, man. We're so lucky. Got a bunch of different species of fish up here, and so a lot of people are multi-species fishermen. And man, this is what we grew up doing, and man, I really, really wanted to do a pike episode with a spinner bait, but I couldn't get on that bite this year. And the reason I want to do it, because man, that was me and my brother's jam. We used to go out and throw this red and white spinner bait from Walmart and just wreck them. And man, we'd be throwing it on a 5.6 ugly stick with a pistol grip, and those old Abu reels where you could put like 2 thumbs on there. And man, we'd be sharing a rod half the time because we'd backlash so bad. But yeah, couldn't do it. So I got a variety of baits I've been catching these ones on, and I just figured I'd put all these pike videos together. And yeah, they're fighting so hard. And when I'm using the lighter bass gear, I've just started thumb spooling them when they're taking line. And I feel it's been a lot easier on my reels. Yep. And also, too, fluorocarbon for pike. I've had it where, they're biting the line, but it's like, man, if you just don't put a ton of pressure on them, man, you can kind of baby them into the boat. And, using the trolling motor to follow them too. And then wearing these fish out a little bit instead of bringing them into the boat when they're super green. And if you've ever noticed, like if you're fighting a pike for a long time and you bring it in, it's kind of got like a red blotches on its belly, or, I don't know how I would say it. They're not blotches. Sometimes they can be a big blotch, but, they'll have like little red dots on their belly or through their skin. And it's just because they're stressed out. And, man, who doesn't want to fight a pike a little bit longer? So just easing them on in, and then they're wore out, and then it's a lot easier to handle these fish, So I always net a fish head first. And when you're out here with these pike, get those jaw spreaders, get the big ones, get yourself some long needle nose pliers, and, try to take care of the fish as much as possible without ripping their gills and everything. And Because, man, I don't know how old these fish are, but man, they got to be 10 to 15 years old, these big pike, I would imagine. Probably older, some of them. So, take care of your resource. And always make sure, like when you put them back in the water, hold on to their back tail for a little bit and, get some water going through their gills and make sure they're strong when they swim off. And if not, try to work them for a little bit. And if they don't go, keep them and make some poor man's lobster out of them. The old boiling it in 7-Up, and man, that's a good meal right there. So yeah, here I'm back on the cabbage, a little isolated cabbage clump off a steep break here. This was right after I caught that 45-incher, and I was like, oh, look at this 35-incher. Whoop, boat flipped it. Oh, I'm sorry, Pike. But I was like, no pike will ever compare to the size of that one, so they're all small to me now. And yeah, I need to clean the boat carpet because, I mean, it's so slimed out from the pike. It's unbelievable. And yeah, I'm complaining about a good problem. Oh, here's me calling my shot. I'm like, man, I know I'm going to get one. I better clean that camera off. So yeah, late fall. And if you can find some hard bottom too, that you're around with around the weeds or on the end of a point, man, it's even that much better. So yeah, weather's getting cooler. The water temp's been about 51 degrees. It's been maintaining 51 degrees for quite a while. And I mean, it's almost already November here, and it's been a lot warmer than I can ever remember. And so we have a full moon coming too. And so these last few big pike were caught with that full moon coming. So I don't know if that had something to play with it too. But, those muskie guys, they mark their calendar for this stuff, so. Yeah. And I mean, all these other ones are like really nice, gorgeous big pike, but I'm like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to let another pike in my boat. I'm going to be keeping them on the outside of the boat now, because I'll never beat the size of that one pike. I should have cleaned the camera off there for that one. Yeah, if you're into fishing, man, invest in a good rain gear. So here's a photo dump of a bunch of pike I caught this year, and that's it, man. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode.